Hey everyone, I'm Marsha. Welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I am showing you how to make these easy and super delicious skillet green beans. So let's get started. All right, so you're gonna need a pound of fresh green beans, and I have a bag of fresh green beans, but you're certainly welcome to pick your own green beans if you would like to in the produce section. I also have an onion, a red bell pepper, 2 garlic cloves, but I really only needed 1 garlic clove just because mine were huge. I also have some butter, some chicken broth, salt, and pepper, and that is it, you guys. All right, so I'm starting off by chopping up my red bell pepper. So I didn't need the entire bell pepper. You don't need the entire bell pepper. I'm only going to use half, and then you can save the other half for something else another day. So I'm only going to chop up half, and I'll leave all the measurements down below in the description box so you can see exactly how much you would need for everything. So I'm using a half of a red bell pepper. And just to let you guys know, I've actually been making this recipe for a while, like for several years now, and I absolutely love it. Mainly because all of these ingredients together make these green beans so good, and they just have so much flavor to it without having to add any meat. If you're used to adding like bacon or turkey legs or some type of pork to get your flavor, you guys try this recipe out because you get a lot of flavor from that chicken broth. So that's the reason why I love it. I hope you guys love it too. So yes, I'm starting off with my red bell pepper, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and chop up my onion. So just like the red bell pepper, I don't need the entire onion. I'm only going to use half, and to be honest with you, I probably could have used a little bit less than half of the onion. So chopping up my onion, and then I will move on to my garlic. All right, so now I'm just going to chop up my garlic really good. I really love fresh garlic right now. I've been on this fresh garlic kick. I guess just because it really does taste a lot better in my opinion. But if you can't get fresh garlic and all you have is like the minced garlic from the jar, which I've been using for years too, that works perfectly fine. But yeah, onion and garlic, man, whenever a recipe calls for that, I'm in heaven, okay? So yeah, these are the ingredients that you're gonna be using. All right, so now it's time to cook everything. So I'm adding 2 generous tablespoons of butter to my skillet. I'm gonna let that melt, and then I'm adding my onions and garlic. So I'm gonna go ahead and saute those 2 things first before I add everything else in. So you only need to saute the onion and garlic for like a minute, maybe a minute and a half. That's it. And then it'll be time to add everything else. All right, so now it's time to add in my green beans, and I did cut off the ends of my green beans and I cut them in half. So this is more so a preference thing for me. To me, it makes more green beans, and I just like the way it looks. So it's more of a preference, but you're certainly welcome to keep yours whole. And I'm gonna go ahead and cook that with the onion and garlic first until they turn a bright green color. So that only takes a couple of minutes. And if you can see here, I know my camera is kind of focusing or zooming in and out, but if you can see, they've turned like a bright green color. And so then it's time to add the red bell pepper. So I'm adding in my red bell pepper, and then I'm gonna add in my salt and pepper. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh ground pepper, and then last but not least, I think it probably is the star of the show for this recipe, is the chicken broth. So the chicken broth accomplishes 2 things in this recipe. So the first thing is it gives the green beans a ton of flavor, you guys. Like I said earlier, if you're not using any type of meat, the chicken broth kind of replaces that flavor component, and it just infuses the green beans with a ton of flavor. So that's number 1. And then number 2, it helps cook the green beans. So once that's added, I'll go ahead and add my lid on top, and I'm gonna leave the lid cracked just a little bit so some of the steam escapes from it. I'm gonna let that cook on low, and after about 20 minutes, it'll look something like this. And this is where, it's pretty much cooked. and it still has a little bit of liquid left in it from the chicken broth, I just let it go ahead and cook maybe about another 5 minutes so all of that liquid evaporates. And then I am left with these amazing green beans. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you did, please leave me a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit that red subscribe button down below so you can never miss when I upload a video. Until next week, you guys, I'll see you later.